welcome back to another video. I am down in the Devonshire area visiting family. We are at Kirkland Tyres in Barnstaple and we have come to see their rear-wheel drive BMW powered Escort van. So let's get inside and let's have a look at how they're doing the conversion and how it all works. So here's the project. It's in bits at the moment because the owner keeps on breaking the engines because he keeps having too much fun drifting this thing. But we've managed to get footage of it at on drift days. Is the build. It's a MK5 Escort van which was bought for the grand sum of £50 from literally 100 yards down the road, and as you can see it's not in that bad condition. Someone who sold an Escort van for 50 quid must be crazy, but at the end of the day it started the build of this project. And the story goes that when they went to drift events, a bit like myself, when I go to some of these events, you get fed up of seeing the same old cars over and over again. So at drift events, it seems to be all BMWs. So what they've done here is, basically they've taken the MK5 Escort van and they've done a full floor pan swap to the BMW. It started off, I think, as the original 1.8 rear-wheel drive, and then they've gone to the 3-litre BMW engine because obviously it wasn't up for the job as the 1.8. So as you can see, it's all in bits because they've had a little bit too much fun. And as I say with the drift boys, them boys live on the limiter. And with having mechanical sympathy, it's something I just couldn't do. I always think about how the engine's got, what's happening inside, and I fear that it's going to blow up. So let's dive in and let's have a look how this conversion's been done. So I couldn't resist coming and have a quick look around this. Anyone who knows me well knows I have a soft spot for a Mark II Cavalier, and again that's been passed down from my dad having one. And this thing's just tucked away in a little corner. What a nice little car to be, as that's been restored and being looked after. It is not a 130 SRI, it is a CDX. Just these little gems which are tucked away that people are still restoring and looking after is fantastic. As I talk to the owner of this car, is if it's got a Ford badge on, or technically any other badge on, they seem to hold the value and people are investing money in restoring them, where unfortunately old Vauxhalls aren't. But it's lovely to see that these things are still being loved and still being restored. So as you open the bonnet, you can see what work's gone on. And what is nice with this is, basically, to make it simple for you, what's green is E36 BMW, the original shell that they've put on. We've gone around seeing these floor pan swaps. It's incredible how close stuff is. And if you've seen the Astra VXR with the S3 floor pan, you can see that there was millimetre perfect. And this thing is near as damn it the same. So if you look, as you can see, all the green is the BMW. Even to the point of, if you look just under there, it all marries up near enough perfect. All the BMW setup, which again for the drifting lads is perfect because everything then is off the shelf. There's no real custom parts. If you was to build a rear-wheel drive Escort with all one-off stuff, you'd have to make bottom arms and subframes, where this now, they can literally go to any drift supplier and ask for E36 parts. And I think from memory they were telling me, you know, the longer steering arms, the longer bottom arms. Again, I'm not 100% clued up on drifting, so just bear with me. Everything is off the shelf to allow this to be modified to allow it to drift perfectly as everything else. And as you can imagine, when you turn up to an event and you've got just a little white van turns up, it does turn some heads. So here's the broken engine from last time they were out drifting. It's a 3-litre BMW engine and it's still running the original E36 1.8 gearbox. Unfortunately, the header cap, I think, blew off, or a pipe blew off, which basically cooked the engine. So they're in the process of trying to find a new one. If anyone's got one spare, give us a shout, because they'd always like spare engines. But on the rebuild side, they're going to put a big giant turbo on it. From going off Jamie and the Mark 1 Golf we filmed in a previous video, 400, 450 possibly in the future, which in a Mark 5 Escort van drifting will be very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to coming back and seeing this one at a drift circuit. There's a drift place called Dakota Dragway in Devon, and I've taken the twin a few times, so it'd be nice to basically go and watch these lads go and have a run myself. I managed to get up on the ramp to have a look underneath, so basically you can see how close it really is, and you can see a kind of little bit more of the workings. So as we go under, anyone who knows obviously an E36 will know this is the floor pan, but as you can see, we're literally edge to edge all the way along. This is box section area, so they reinforce the sills, so basically when they are welding to, it's a bit more stronger in places. It is so close. And then as you move to the back and look in the wheel arch, you can literally see the joining line, which is the second line there, which goes all the way around. So they've had to plate that section. Possibly if they would have trimmed the shell a little bit wider, I don't know, they might have not had to put that piece in. There's not a massive amount of fab work on the principle of making it all joined together to match the Mark 5 Escort van. It is near enough there. The rear diff, you wouldn't normally see that on a Mark 5 van, but this thing, it has been built to basically have some fun in, not money, no object like some of the builds I do see. This is basically, let's have some fun, let's be different, and let's go drifting. This is what I mean by extending the arms. This is to get additional lock, and they also move, from what I hear, the steering pivot to help with drifting for more lock. What an amazing and interesting build this is. Right, so dive in. As you can see, as with the floor pan swaps, when we go into detail, it's nice to see where they join. So this one has literally joined along the edge and has been plated downwards to join the floor to the Escort sills. Anyone who knows BMWs will know this is a pretty damn good fit to say it's a floor pan swap. And again, it does amaze me how close some of these are. It obviously is a bit strange to see an Escort with a BMW set of clocks and tunnel, hydraulic handbrake. Obviously, it did have originally, still on the Ford key, because it had the original Ford steering wheel, because the owner wanted this to look technically like a Ford as much as possible. So when people sit in it or look in it, they just see the Ford steering wheel and think it was obviously still the Ford. Hence, but now it is Escort, which goes down to the BMW part. S14 roll cage that they were donated off a friend that they've adapted to fit, obviously for safety. The rear section still to be finished. That's what they're going to do over the next few months, obviously, whilst building a newer engine and obviously turbo in the newer engine. Is it not just interesting as a Mark 5 Escort van lines up perfectly with an E36 BMW chassis? So let's go around the back and we'll show you the length and what they've had to do.
Had to be done, man.
So, in the back, the E36 comes right to this edge. Obviously, all welded in. E36 turrets. Obviously, the easy way of doing these kind of conversions, it's not easy, it's still a lot of work, is the floor pan swap. All the fixing points of subframes, you know, axles, props, and everything are already there for you. It is kind of the way to go. For me, that's why I love this. It would be so easy just to carry on drifting the BMW, but to do all the additional work to make it fit the Escort van is what my channel and what I love going to see. And this is how I like to see it, because it's unfinished and you can see how it's been built. So they tell me it's been shortened. They're saying around 5 to 6 inches, which looks like it's come from the back of the seats. They've shortened it, which again basically means all they've had to do is remove that out of the prop shaft area. It is just an E46 BMW floor pan. So sign this video off. This video is kind of getting back to my roots again on the fact of going seeing these unfinished projects, so I can watch them from start to finish, but they have to be something super interesting. Obviously, there's not a great deal I can show with that car with the engine being out, but it's nice to see how the floor pan swap has been done, because it shows you the amount of work that's involved in doing the conversion. Quite easy to turn up to a drift day and see the car as a complete and just not appreciate how much has been involved. And that is what I like to see, is basically diving in and seeing how it's all constructed, welded and fab worked, and what these people are doing on big budgets, small budgets, a bit of everything. But I think you'll agree, rear wheel drive, BMW powered Escort Mark 5 van is something super interesting. And I think in the future, we're going to go and see another massive powered Mark 5 van, Terry Newtons, that'll be coming in the future. We'll sign this one off. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll see us all on the next video.